It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Matthew Murphy this morning. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Jack and Susan send their love, but they do not regret moving up to Cape Cod. And they are continuing the mission of their work and spreading the gospel and as you know, very human-based services. They continue to be active in their church up there. I do want to say thank you very much for having me. Your newsletter has made its rounds because my father texted me to wear a shirt and tie. And my mother called and said, if I only knew what it took to get you into church. So she's very happy that I'm in church today. And last but not least, as only a 15-year-old could do, my daughter said, don't embarrass me, I have to go to school tomorrow. Okay, so I'm here to talk to you a little bit about my experience in Bergen County. I started my career in Wyckoff as an elementary school teacher, and now I'm the superintendent of Ramsey. And this is really a call to action for me, because I have to tell you there's no greater issue facing schools today than the mental health of our youth. I'm not trying to be over dramatic here, but it is far more important than an SAT score. It's far more important to what college they get into or they don't get into. Spoiler alert, there's a college for everyone. It's not about rankings. It's not about GPA. It's about really growing and raising strong young adults to face this complex world. As you know, 1 in 4 of us, 1 in 5 of us suffer from a mental health issue. By age 14, those are usually about half are diagnosed, and then about 3/4 by age 24. But here's something really startling about our young people. Only 1/3 of those who have been diagnosed, right? So it's 1 in 5. 3/4 of them are diagnosed by 14, 1/2, and then 3/4. But only 1/3 of those receive their services that they need. Now, you would say to yourself, do you think only 1/3 who have cancer get help? Diabetes? No. But only 1/3 get help, and there's 2 big reasons for that. One is the stigma. I know Michael Tazzoli spoke about that. We still have a stigma attached to saying my son, my daughter, my nephew, my grandson suffers from a mental illness. We don't have a problem oversharing things on Facebook, GoFundMe pages. While I don't have a Facebook account, I am on Facebook as the superintendent. They like to talk about me, right? So yes, while I'm on Facebook, and I'm astonished by what people share, but we don't have the courage to say, my son or daughter is suffering from anxiety, or OCD, or depression. We still have to get over that hump. The second thing is access to health care. And I applaud West Bergen for embracing this as one of your missions. I know we live in an affluent area, but you would be shocked and astonished by lack of access to health care, the roadblocks that these companies put up. One of the reasons I'm talking about this on my days off is because I want our communities, not just Ramsey, but Ridgewood, to have a point of contact, because we will get people help no matter what their financial situation is. So stigma and access to healthcare remain my 2 biggest roadblocks. Now, adolescence is tough. I don't know about you, I don't want to be 14 again. Okay, and I sure as heck don't want to be 14 in the world of social media. It's safe to say, because some of you have known me in this audience since I've been a little kid, I probably would not be a superintendent if there was social media today. Okay, it's tough. It's the greatest growth physically. Think about that. The most physical changes, emotional, social, and yes, mental. And oftentimes, adolescence masks the symptoms of mental illness. And sometimes mental illness gets in the way of what's typical adolescent behavior. So I'm going to share with you something that is not researched. It's just a little thing that we've come up with. Live, love, and learn. Again, live, love, and learn. And I share this, yes, Dr. Murphy, but as my 84 Sicilian mother will say, not really a doctor. True story. Your sister, she married a doctor. He does hips, if anyone needs a hip, okay? This is the audience, maybe we need some hip replacement. You're not really a doctor, Matthew. You have some letters, it's probably one of those, symptoms or something, or, but anyway. So it's not researched. It's not a medical live, love, and learn. What do I mean? And this is a way to help you. Is it adolescent, or could it be some mental health issues? Live. Can the 14, 15-year-old, 16-year-old brush their teeth? Do the daily living things that we are normal. Okay, get up, brush their teeth, daily routines. Can they live their life? Now listen, early on, because I taught elementary school, I taught my kids, you don't want to be the smelly kid. Okay, so you have to take a shower a lot, right? I bring that up because I'll tell you why. If a daily routine that they're used to stops, ask yourself why. So that's live. The daily stuff that your son, daughter, grandchild love. Healthy relationships is what we mean by love. Do they have the same friend group? Are they isolated? Do they have the same relationship with their teachers, with their clergy? Now that doesn't mean, and any of us who have adolescents, mine are 15 and 18, sometimes we pray for friend groups to change. Sometimes we'll offer money for friend groups to change. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the typical friendships, relationships, love. Live daily routines, love typical relationships. Again, my daughter falls in love and she falls out of love very quickly, okay? That's typical. But she still has her best friends. She still is going out with them. She still has healthy relationships. And then learn. Obviously, I changed that because I'm a teacher. Does the love of learning stop? Does the love to go to sports, right? So if they love lacrosse, does that all of a sudden stop? That's what I mean by learning. So live, love, and learn will help you kind of decipher between the typical adolescent behaviors and possibly something to investigate. It doesn't mean that they have a mental health illness. It just is a way for you to help decipher. So what can you do? Number one, you're here. Thank you so much to the Reverend and to the church for inviting and adopting West Bergen. I'm very proud of my volunteer service with them. There are other sister agencies that do fabulous work as well. Another way you can help out is get trained in mental health first aid. You hear about first aid for CPR and so forth. Do you now know there's a certification to be trained in mental health? So if there is an episode, you know what to do. Let me just say, if 1 in 5 of us suffer from a mental illness, the odds are you might be participate in an episode. So I have gone out of my way to be a trainer. It doesn't cost anything. It's free. We don't want it. But that I urge you to become certified in first aid. And lastly, we teach our children no longer is it acceptable to be a bystander. So much so that my daughter is now an EMT in Ridgewood. I advise you not to have a heart attack on Thursday nights. You know what I'm saying? She's on Thursday nights. And she's now driving that big ambulance. So if you hear those sirens, now more than ever, not just pull to the side, like go to a different street, okay? Because she's now driving an ambulance. And she says to me, yeah, Dad, backing up is really an issue. Just go forward, honey. Just make a lot of right turns. Okay, but no longer is it acceptable to be a bystander. The phrase we're teaching our young children is to be an upstander. So if you see young people whose behaviors have changed, ask. Offer a helping hand. Later on in this beautiful sermon today, they're going to talk about the graciousness of love. I urge you, and I end with this, there's no greater gift of love than accepting those who look different, sound different, may act different, may test your patience. You might just think that they're things that are in their control. They may not be. And I think how we identify ourselves as a group is how we treat those who are in our corners or in our closets that our society doesn't want to embrace and don't want to talk about, is how we will ultimately be defined. I have been a superintendent well over a decade, and I'm telling you, I don't want to lose another young person. I just don't. There is a world and there's a lifetime for them. We have to let them know that our community loves them. They are resilient and there is recovery, but only if we break the stigma. I don't want to have another tragedy and lose another young person. So God bless you and God bless Westside, and thank you very much for your time.